So let's see. Coming up to 7:15. Just gonna sit tight for right now. So, Ken, I would say a couple of months of green with a good ratio and profitability. Here's the questions I would ask. How many trades are you taking per day? Um, do you know your metrics with the price range that you do the best on, relative volume, and things like that? Do you have a system of how you will find stocks every day to trade? Um, have you considered doing what share size are you trading? That's a third question. Have you considered doing a kind of limited pre-real money scaled down test where you're taking just like one or two trades a day to get ready to go live? Um, because what I would consider is doing the transition to real money, and with real money trading with very small size for the first week, just to prove that you can maintain the same accuracy and profit loss ratio. And even if you're only trading with 10 shares, but you can maintain those ratios, then the next week go up to 20 and then 40 and then, 80. And within a couple of weeks, you'll be up to a more decent share size. But you want to scale in slowly to real money because what's the a lot of people think the risk of trading with real money is, oh, well, I'll just lose money, but I can afford it. No big deal. The real risk is that you lose your confidence in yourself. Because when you lose your confidence, then all of a sudden you're no longer going to be able to focus on taking good quality setups. You're trading from a point of fear, and that's when you're going to start making some big mistakes. So that's my bigger concern. GNPX is easy to borrow at light speed, interestingly. It's a nice curl idea, but I'm a bit thrown off on how a 500,000 share float can be easy to borrow. Well, it doesn't surprise me the spreads are a little bit bigger on this one. It's less than a million shares, but even looking at it right now, the spreads aren't really that bad. The volume profile looks good. High a day back here was 8. This little pivot's at 730. So a break of 730 would kind of look for that curl back higher. But being easy to borrow is throwing me off a little bit. It's up 20%. That's not a huge gap. I don't know if that short interest is accurate. I would suspect it's not because of the fact that it's easy to borrow still. So let's see. Let me switch to my IRA account and just try a short one share of it and see what happens. Yeah, no, it let me short one share of it. So it's shortable. It's not a short sale restriction. My gosh. Wow. Hmm. So what went wrong there? Well, as Shaw pointed out, the stock was only up 20%. It's never really up that much. It had popped earlier to 8 and then basically did a round trip back to 6. Starts to curl back up a little bit, but then we notice it's easy to borrow. And, well, you know, I think that was a little bit of a trap in there. Yeah, I don't think I had anything to do with that drop there. Yeah, maybe that's all it took. No, I think what really happened there was there are probably some traders from last week who have been aggressive, um, both to the long side and the short side. But this break here, this break back below the VWAP, um, it just sends a very clear signal that the stock is not holding up. And I think it was probably, a break of 650, sort of around where maybe anyone who bought in here just sort of says, all right, I'm giving up. That's enough. So I think that was just a critical level. Well, so I would say warrior trading is a subset. We've got a community of momentum traders, and it's a subset of momentum traders. It's certainly not every momentum trader focusing on small caps is a member at Warrior Trading. Not everyone wants. I mean, we don't allow the membership for just anyone. It's you've got to be willing to be in the classes because I don't want people in the chat room just subscribing for $100 a month or 200 a month just to listen to me trade so they can try to follow me without putting in the work of going through the classes. So, there's other rooms out there that I'm sure are larger because they allow people to subscribe for just 100 or 200 a month. But to me, I didn't, my focus has been on wanting to educate you guys on the strategy that I trade. And so we've created a bit of a barrier to entry that to be in the community at all, you've actually got to be in the classes as well. So, in any event, we do have a nice group of momentum traders. And, certainly if you've got a stock that has zero volume and everyone jumps on it, that's volume that's going to contribute to the move higher. I would say that if you have a stock that is popping up with a catalyst, you've got news, there's a clear reason that it's popping up, then the volume that you're contributing is a fraction of the total volume that stock is going to have anyways, because, it's got a reason to be moving up. So like if I trade UPC today, is UPC going to go up just because, so this is an argument that people throw out all the time. Russ, you only make money because you're calling out trades. And so I said, oh, is that, so SpaceX, when I made, 40 grand day trading SpaceX, I guess SpaceX only went up because I said that I bought it. That's interesting. I guess the whole world should thank me because SpaceX went to 200. Now I thought it would go to 200, but so it only went up because I said it was going to go up. What about the Jersey Mike's IPO that I traded, 2 days ago? I was trading that on my own. I wasn't streaming. Oh, well, okay, Ross. No, sometimes I guess you do pick stock. Well, which is it? Am I jumping on momentum that already exists, or is the momentum only there because I'm trading? So, if I was away for a week, I guess you would stop seeing any stocks going up at all by that argument. And that's not obviously what happens. So the momentum is here and I'm going to jump on it. And me jumping on it and the volume that I add to it certainly contributes to the momentum. Everyone does. We all contribute to the momentum. And, so that's fine. The area where it becomes manipulation is if you are deceiving people by buying a really big position and not telling anyone about it, or if you're making up news about it, and that's what some people do. They either accumulate a huge position secretly, and then they tell people, "Oh, I heard that UPC's, gonna whatever." This is what you see in the WhatsApp scammers, right? This is literally what the WhatsApp scammers do. They accumulate a huge position, and then they go on WhatsApp and they start telling people some rumor, some garbage that's going to happen. stock's going to go to 1,000. Oh, Trump is going to personally, join the board of directors, some just outrageous thing. And, naturally the stock goes up because people start buying it. And then the insiders just start dumping and dumping and dumping. And it comes all the way back down. So, that's been around for forever. I mean, that's like the Wolf of Wall Street. Well, actually, I don't even know what the Wolf of Wall, I don't really know exactly what they did wrong there. I don't know. Maybe it was something with penny stocks. I don't really know exactly what they did, but in any case, the penny stock pump and dump thing has been around for forever. So, yeah, I think that, when we've got a really hot market and we have one obvious stock, then pretty much all of the active momentum traders are going to be focusing on it. So what was our stock on Friday? It was FCUV, right? So I did pretty well on this one. Ended up trading with 100 million shares of volume. So we had some really nice volume on this one yesterday, or Friday. And certainly all of us trading it contributed to that. Short sellers trading it also contributed to that. Some of them got stuck and had to cover, right? So, this was the obvious stock. So everyone was focused on it. And so it traded on higher volume. The patterns were a little bit cleaner, and that worked pretty well. The day before that, we had NUWE. That one traded on 120 million shares of volume. It ended up going up, and then it sold off. Why? Why did this one not hold up as well? Is it because of anything that I did or we did? No. It's because the company was actually doing an offering. And so then they announced an offering, and it got posted right there. So, we don't always know the circumstances of these companies. Jump on them and, ride the momentum. And sometimes the company's not selling. FCUV, man, this thing just keeps going higher, keeps holding up. DFNS, I couldn't believe it, went all the way to $100 a share. And other times the companies stall out, up only 100%, and you just start seeing a lot of selling. And then the news comes out that they did an offering. And you're like, bummer. So it ends up doing a round trip. And, momentum traders will jump on things that are moving, but we're also fickle. If something's not holding up, then we'll jump right back out. So that can sort of amplify the swings. But, there's traders that are, that's just the way trading is. It's always going to be like that. I think that, another comment that, people, I see sometimes people say, Ross, your strategy is just too fast. Like, I love it. I respect it. You're making money. It's awesome. I just can't keep up with it. And, I think, maybe I should go switch to something else. Large caps, maybe futures. I don't know. Forex. I don't know. Something else. And I do see a lot of people out there on social media, like Reddit, whatever, that trade Forex and, futures and stuff like that. And I think that something I was thinking about with that is, number one, usually to trade Forex and futures, you do end up having to use a lot of leverage. And using leverage is risky. However, Forex, futures, contracts, they don't typically, you're trading an underlying asset that is a little less volatile. There's some volatility, but there's a little bit less volatility. So you're not as likely to have a trade like this HY, whatever this is. So let's pull this up. HYFM. This is pretty crazy. If you jumped in this at 2, you're already down, 40% on the trade in an instant. And you're probably not going to be down 40% trading futures or Forex. So the result is that futures and Forex become viewed as more stable. Even large caps, trading Apple or Tesla, they become viewed as being more stable. They become viewed as being a safer security to trade. And it is safer in the sense that it's probably not going to drop 20, 30% or pop 20, 30% in, minutes the way something like this is. On the other hand, how do you develop an edge trading those types of stocks or instruments? And what I see people doing is they use very complex charts. They're using the footprint charts, the book map. They're using a crazy slew of indicators. And they're trying to get dialed in on the minutia, these very, very minuscule little spots where they think that there's a pattern. And what I think often happens is, just as someone sometimes sees the impression of Jerry Garcia in a grilled cheese sandwich, you think you're seeing something, but it's not real. It's sort of an illusion. And so to actually consistently make money in those markets is very difficult. And so what I see happening to a lot of traders is they'll feel like they're making a little progress. They'll have a couple winners, and then they'll have a stretch of losers, and they'll have a few more winners, and then another stretch of losers. And they're never really getting ahead. But they're also not really falling that far behind. And so they eventually just sort of give up because it's just not really clicking, but they stay in the market longer. And you know who that's really good for? It's good for the prop firms that sell you on that dream that you'll make money trading futures, because you'll stay with them for years and years. You never really make a lot, you don't really lose a lot, but the broker makes money the whole time. And so, we at one point had a futures trading mentor here. We had a futures trading course. We tried it because I saw there was interest in it. And we never had anyone in that program that was able to earn a badge of profitability, a single badge. And so eventually I was like, I don't think we're providing a good service here. And then we had the large cap room for a long time. And we didn't have anyone in that room that ever earned $1 million badge. And, there were some people that earned badges, 50K, 100K, 250K. Maybe there was one person that got a 500K badge, but, I just wasn't seeing people succeeding at the rate that I wanted them to. Now, interestingly, in the small cap room, we do see certainly people that have these big badges, but in the small cap room, we also have people that will say, I just blew up my account in one day. And you weren't really seeing that in large caps or in futures, because those instruments weren't, they weren't blowing up. The underlying instrument wasn't blowing up. And so, but on the other hand, these people, generally speaking, and this is generalization, I'm sure there's exceptions, but generally speaking, I wasn't seeing success. So people say, Ross, your strategy is really hard to learn, or it's too fast. Maybe I should just go trade something else. I kind of think, is there a way that, number one, you could trade a little faster? Or is there a way, number two, that you could trade the same stocks that are making, 100% moves in one day? So they're highly volatile, but focus on slower time frames. Maybe that is using the 5-minute chart a little bit more. Maybe that's waiting for one very clear setup of, a curl through VWAP or something like that. And I don't know, but is my strategy the easiest in the world? Maybe it's not. I don't know, because I don't trade others. But I know it works really well for me. I know it works well for others who have similar aptitude and are able to trade quickly. And I know that there's others who have adapted it to trade a little differently. John trades a little differently from me. Jess, Danny, any one of the members here who have a big badge have their own subtle variation. And some of them might trade more on 5-minute charts or whatever the case is. But you're trading the right stock, in my opinion, because you're trading something that's doing something special today. And you're not as likely to get chopped up by high frequency trading algorithms. You're trading something that's moving. Now, again, you could argue, well, Ross, look at Tesla. Tesla moves every day $10 a share more. You're right. It does. And if you just want to get 10, 15 cents a share, but when I look at this chart, I genuinely don't see anything. I don't see anything. And I remember being at a point in my career where I was, I was looking at charts like this, and I said to myself, I've been doing this for more than a year and I don't see a thing. And right now I could say I've been doing this, you know, full time for more than a decade. And I look at a chart like this and I really don't see, I don't, the only thing maybe I see is first candle to make a new high here. That's like the only thing that I can kind of see a reversal down there. Um, but most of this just is not clear. And the fact is, it doesn't have high relative volume. It's just a, it's trading based on really the overall market, what the overall market's doing, plus mutual funds and hedge funds that move in and out of these stocks. Trying to get an edge trading something like this on a daily basis is going to be really difficult. Trying to get an edge on something like FCUV, in my opinion, is a lot easier. It's just my opinion based on my experience, but it's just been a lot easier for me. So, and in doing this, you're trading what appear to be each day the number one, top five, whatever stocks for retail traders. So, are some of my trades quick? Yeah, they are. Sometimes I jump in, jump out very quickly. But NEXR, I think this was JFBR, Jeff Brands, reimagined. So let's ignore that one. So, anyways, look, I can't change your opinion. Do what you like, believe what you like. Some people believe that, I only make money because there's some people that follow me, even though I tell people not to blindly follow me. But some people will say, they believe that. And then when I point out all the stocks I trade that have tens of millions, hundreds of millions of shares of volume, or are like trading a large cap IPO like SpaceX, whatever. They don't have they're like, I don't know, well, maybe then even an idiot can be right once in a while. It doesn't make sense. And then there's other people who will say, well, look, the strategy, it's not a good strategy. It's too risky for beginners. Beginners should trade Forex first, or they should trade futures first. They're more stable. They're slower. And while it's true that spending a year trading Forex you would learn the basics of technical analysis, hopefully without blowing up your account because you're trading something that's not moving. I think on the other hand, you can have that same experience with small caps, but it does require a high level of discipline to not jump in with real money and to bide your time and to wait. But when I look around at the people who are making, pretty serious money as a retail day trader like me, who didn't start with millions of dollars, whatever, they're trading generally small caps, with the exception of some people who have gotten the risk tolerance to do swing trading with options on large caps, which, if you've got the bankroll, you could do it. But I mean, I've known people who, will put huge amounts of money into large caps and then they just sit with a position underwater for days or weeks, even months, until it hopefully comes back up. And with a large cap, hopefully it will. But then you're stuck in that whole period. It's hard. But, people who trade large caps or futures or whatever, they feel what works for them is the best. And if it works for them, I respect that for sure. But I see a lot of people that are struggling in those markets. I sort of think that small caps just amplify the direction you're going. If you were destined to fail, you'll fail faster in small caps because they're so volatile. If you were destined to succeed, you might succeed sooner because your edge in small caps with these instruments moving as much as they are can really things can really pick up. I'm not sure what to think about HYFM. I'm interested, but I am seeing, some bigger sellers coming out as well. It's holding over the 200, so that's good. So the previous high here, I mean, the fact that we had that big of a move is certainly impressive. Previous high was 289. Now it is at a price where if I wanted to, even in the small account, I could buy like 10,000 shares. Uh, but it seems like shorts are feeling confident because of that initial topping tail. So, topping tails are always bearish. We've got a topping tail on the 5, topping tail on the 1. Then there was heavy selling around 2, but we broke over 2 here, right? So the pivot there, or the high, was 222. Now we're pulling back. We're holding 222. It's not easy to borrow at light speed, but it is on short sale restriction. So I've got my starter in the small account here. And now I'm kind of looking to see if this thing curls through, see where it gets to. So I took 10,000 shares in the small account on that. It's close to a double top. So I just added back here and now looking for shorts to get squeezed. So watching this area. So watching right here. So still holding one share, but I'm going to watch to see if we got to move higher on this. So the next level, let's see, we would look for a squeeze through 350 and then up to 4. So looks like my order to add didn't fill, so I'm watching up here to add over 350. So watching right here, added back in the small account, 500 shares. Now I want to see if we get a squeeze up to 375, 380. So just did 500 shares on the add back. No trades on that one in my big account, but that's okay. Oh, Schwab, you're so difficult. So what I liked about this was how we broke through. I think this was a good example of breaking a level and then retesting a level. Just gonna add this for the classes. So watching this area, added here, now looking for a break of 4. So watching up in this area. Just going to give this a second. So if we can break through $4, then we're sort of on the next leg of the move higher. So let's just watch this area. Let it pull back, then let it curl back up. I think we've got a good chance at seeing that break of 4. So watching this here, watching this dip. I'm just going to wait a second. So high right now is 382. Average 359. So watching down here to add. Added here, now looking for the squeeze through $4 a share. So added at 85, now looking at 90. Let's see if this can break over 4 right here. So watching over 88 to add to the position. Added at 80, now looking for 90. Added there, now looking for the breakthrough 4. So watching over $4 a share. Nice. So was hoping that we would hold over 4, but we'll take it for right now. So we've got 38 million shares of volume, leading gainer. Held the whole position on the small account through 4. Got out as it came back down. So back to sitting tight. Now I need to see if it can hold over 4. I just use hotkeys. I was hoping that would pull away, but I didn't know. I thought, well, could this pull away to 450, like five? Could this be the spot where it just finally opens up? But there was some selling up against four, so it broke through that level and then flushed back down. PUSA floats 22 million shares. Gonna hold off on that for right now. Easy to borrow at light speed. All right, so let's see. So I think we'll be, yeah, I'll definitely have another donation today. That's a good question. So between 355 and 391, but between 355 and 377, only 6 seconds passed. So within those 6 seconds, that's how much it moved up. MACD is now negative. So I don't know. That might be a problem, but um, given the way this one trades, it might not. Just gonna sit tight for right now, though. No, I don't filter the time and sales, so I'll see all the orders that go through. Um, so shorts are in control right now in HYFM. MACD is negative. You've got topping tail up at 4. This is some would probably look at this as like a inverted or a traditional head and shoulders pattern with the resistance up in this area. So we'll see later if there's an opportunity, but for right now, leaving it alone. So I'm going to donate $5,000 to Children's of Mississippi. So that'll be for the small account challenge. A successful trader that doesn't use level 2. Um, well, I don't know of one specifically off the top of my head. I think that there may be traders, there may be traders out there, but I wouldn't think they'd be trading small caps the way I do without level 2. All right, so we're going to do that one. Yeah, the Children's Hospital is in Jackson, Batson Children's Hospital in Mississippi. EDBL on the scans, not that interested. I mean, it's funny. It's just a continuation of the same kind of headlines they keep putting out, but it keeps rejecting. But those pops also have the effect of taking attention away from HYFM. All right, so then I did another donation for $5,000 for Michigan CS Mott Children's Hospital. So that's $10,000 today, and that'll be today's profits, and then a little bit of yesterday or Friday's. So that brings us up to, let's see, to $400,000. Which is great. Now, if the account's getting a little bit bigger, picking up speed. You can donate as much as you want. Yeah, there's not a limit. So, yeah, I mean, who knows? By the end of the year, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. So, the total from the likes on the video, let's see, is about $295,000, and my own trading is $105,000. So that's been held back because I've reset the account several times, and people have asked me to do, you know, cash only accounts and stuff like that. Well, no, the small account challenge is actually in a taxable individual account. So I did that because I was starting with, well, why did I do that? I guess I was starting with $2,000 and I thought maybe I would have leverage and I was planning on using leverage if I had it. But as it turns out, even though it says I do have leverage, intraday buying power is $168,000. I can't, I'm not allowed to, they don't let you use leverage on a lot of these stocks. It's, it's annoying. So now if I wanted leverage, I need to have that much more cash in the account. Some of the other brokers are a little more liberal with letting you just use leverage on whatever you want. The small account challenge is with Schwab. No trades on EDBL. I mean, we traded it before and it was kind of only so so. So the sim, I do see down here, but you might need to go into the support room if you're not seeing that button. Yeah, it says I have buying power, but not really because I'm not able to use it on any of the stocks I'm trading. I did donate to some animal shelters at the beginning of the challenge as well. I have done that, and I probably will do some more at some point. But so added back on HYFM there, and now looking for 75 and 80. I want to see if this squeezes through four. So adding up here, now looking for over $4, a squeeze up to 450. So watch up here for that breakthrough four. We break through four, then it's game time. There we go. There's 405. So now watching 415. Bought the dip, popping back up, a little heavy. So kind of a little trade there, I guess. Not what I really wanted. We got the break of four, but we rejected. I didn't sell any at four in the big account. I was giving it a chance to see if it held four and then pulled away. You're not filling the buy on the ask, barely selling the bid. Okay, so sorry. Third time not filling on the ask. So I would wonder if you're using an offset. Um, you should use an offset. I'm using 5-10 cent offset to buy on the ask. But which broker are you using? Huh. I'm not sure. I didn't really have issues when I was using Webull. So I'm not totally sure why that would be the case. Let me pull up my Webull account for a second. So let's see. Hotkeys. Their hotkey settings are pretty easy to make. So buy 2,000 shares, limit order, quantity, whatever shares is fine. Ask, offset, time in force, day. That's important. Extended hours, yes. You need extended hours on. And then the sell bid. Um, I mean, that's it right there. Unless you're having some kind of latency. You could go to speedtest.net and just check your ping. Yeah, so your latency is not bad. Where are you located? Just you check your latency to New York City if you can, but you're in New York. Okay, so yeah, I mean, Can you do test orders with just one share? Just see, like, does one share fill or not? Thing is, Weeble's not that bad of a broker. If your offset was 50 cents, and I didn't see if that's how much it is, but if it was that high, oh, are you using it? Okay, so the Weeble sim doesn't work very well. That's number one. And that is a fact. The simulator doesn't work very well. The real money is fine, but their simulator is notoriously slow and lags. So don't, if you're in the sim, that's the issue. Um, but if it's real money, which I thought it was, right? So yeah, I don't know. If you're using a 50 cent offset though, they might your order might be getting hung up because this you're offsetting too far above the ask. But I thought you said you were doing like 10 cents. So easy RA popping up here. Just checking this. So current time 8:30. I got a starter on easy RA as it's popping up here and looking for a squeeze up towards 4. But so even though we hit a high up there, my average is 424. So back out with a $500 profit and let it pull back. And then let's see where it bases out and if there's another trade in there. So the current high is 368. Not sure if it'll work, but it is up 50%. So I bought the dip at 72 to see if we get a quick pop back up to 95. So holding 1,000, now 500 shares, taking some profit at 92. Okay, so now we're back over 3. Good. Up 70%. So just holding small size at 72 right now. Bigger seller coming out, so I'm out flat the rest. Yeah, I'm not sure. Um, Now you've got a bit of a higher volume red candle. I filled this high as 337, so I chased it a little bit too. Yeah, so the fees and commissions to Lightspeed are not insignificant. So yeah, they'll make some money on that trade. No, I'm just sitting tight right now. So, yeah, I see some of those entry. Yeah, well, so my first entry that I was chasing it. Your entry on the first candle to make a new high was good, and the second one was good too. And the stock was really annoying because it kept doing a false breakout. And then I ended up getting in when it finally broke that level, um, and so it was tricky. I don't think you really made any mistakes there. That was one that just didn't work in the spots where I expected it to, which was really kind of annoying. I think that's one of the things I had mentioned in the recap was that, it was good, but we've had better. Because that one was just, it was a little bit, a little bit tricky. INHD, I saw that as well. Resumed basically flat, sold off, came all the way back up, sold off, came all the way back up. So the people who were hoping it would resume at $1 were did not get that. But yeah, I didn't think too much of it, other than relatively speaking, it was a bullish resumption. So we have one stock today that's up 500%, and then everything else is sort of a distraction. I think there's probably a good chance that we do see another breakout on HYFM at some point. I just don't know when that's going to be, but we'll keep an eye on it. Still have that chart up. Hmm. So HYFM side chart, EZRA, third leading gapper, side chart. Added here on EZRA as it's curling back up and looking for the breakthrough 35 and 40. So new order, watching over 35 to add, looking for a possible small account trade here. So added right there in the small account. Let's see, why is it not filling? Putting the new order. Okay, added in the small account. Now looking for 45 and 50. Let's see if this squeezes through 35. So I've got my order ready to add over 45 and 50. So holding right now, watching through the highs. What we'd like to see on this is a breakthrough 35 and 40. So putting my order at 35, micro pullback right here, watching, added right there. Now looking for 35. Can we get through 40? So what I'm looking for on this is a break through 35 and 45, a squeeze through 350, and a retest of our high of day. I think we've got a good shot at it because it's up 75% on the day. So holding right now, giving it a chance, watching 35 and 45. So new order up around 40. I'll put a profit target up around 50. So watching up here at 35. There we go. Added. Can we get through 45 and 50? Watching over 50. So not pulling away. Dip at 95 for the pop back up over 3,000 shares. Back out for a small scalp. For whatever reason, this one doesn't want to pull away, which is always, a little confusing why one is like that, but Well, I have a 27-inch monitor, I think this is. So it's not, it doesn't seem too small for me, but yeah, I mean, this is what I'm looking at. Yeah, yep, 4K monitor, but it's not at actually a 4K resolution. But in any case, it is a 27-inch monitor. DFNS price too high for me. Just would be too risky. UPC if it broke over 875. So I use percentage of my account when the account's smaller, so I can make sure I buy enough shares, and then I switch to fixed share size once I'm up over like 20, $30,000 in the account. So I do have a class where I talk about how to set up the hotkeys. The methodology of setting them up, shift one, 2, 3, 4, 5 for buying, 1,000, 2,000, etc. That's kind of made sense. And then the sell button, I just decided to use control and I use control Z to sell. And that seems to work pretty well. So some of it's just sort of natural evolution in my trading that these are the keys I ended up using. Well, it's top of book for Lightspeed. So added back there 5,000 shares on EZRA just to see if it squeezes through a new high a day, but only made 2 cents a share on that. That's okay. It's kind of like a double top up here, so a little tricky. $100. Added here, now looking for the squeeze through 75, and then looking for 80. So once we start to break through that new high, watching over 75, holding 5,000 shares, watching the dip. Added down here at 54, little pop there. We'll see if we get any more trades on this. Just quick scalps on it right now. High a day is 77. Top of the hour. Yep, coming up here. Added here, we're seeming to hold the $0.50. So now looking for 75 and 85. Added there. Can we pull away? Holding 5,000 shares. We just made a new high a day, which is good. So just doing little scalps up here. Watching a dip. Added at 46 to buy the dip for the pop back up over the $0.50. So what's interesting on this one is, we've got these highs up here, double top now around 77.80. But it's like it pulls away and then it dips, it pulls away. And I'm just wondering if it keeps holding new highs, if shorts eventually give up. But as of right now, not yet. Yeah, chapter 6 of strategies and scaling for the deep dive into level 2. No, I think I still did have that 10-cent offset. Yeah, I must have because I added between 55 and 69. So yeah, it might have even been 15 cents in that case because the last 5,000 shares filled at 69, 15 cents above my first entry. So like 22 minutes to the opening bell right now. Easy RA curling up again a little bit. So just checking their balance sheet, they've got $800,000 cash. Okay. Um, Losing $2 million a quarter. So, hmm, that's a different financial position than like FCUV that we traded on Friday. So shorts might be feeling more confident on EZRA. HYFM is still on side chart. I've got it up, and we still have that double top around 410, but it is our leading gainer, so it's still on watch if it curls back up. So everything you see on this screen is on the screen right here. Now, just below that screen, I have my order entry window right here. So this is where I actually place the orders with my level 2. So that's right below that screen. That's on a separate monitor. And then above, I have another screen that just has an extra chart on it, like this. So I have three screens right now that are dedicated to trading. And that works pretty well for me. When I'm on my traveling trading station, sometimes I just have two monitors and I don't have that third chart or that extra chart on watch. Eh, it's fine. Usually isn't really that big of a deal. I can always just flip back to HYFM when I want to take a peek at it. Yep, SNES, pop and drop. Thank you. So interesting that HYFM at 330, EZRA also at 330. They're like at the same price more or less right now. EZRA pulling back a little bit here. HYFM, I've got a starter down here. I'm looking for the curl through 350. I'm kind of thinking as we come into the open that we're going to start rallying back up towards 4. So watching this to add over 55 and 65 here. So now watching 65 and 75. See, I think I've got the right idea on this. So added here at 61. Now looking for 65 and 75. Holding 9,000 shares. So I don't like that. It looks like it's going to go, and then all of a sudden sellers push it right back down. All right. Well, felt like I was in the driver's seat there for a second, but maybe not. I was thinking if we break over the $0.50, which had been resistance, 350, then 375, then $4. We've been seeing some of these stocks that have been strong, pulling away, at the open. So Back to sitting tight. So going into the open, it's been sort of a toss up whether it would be EZRA or HYFM, but EZRA is back below VWAP. HYFM is maintaining 500% gainer. However, as we can see, it's not given exactly the movement I was hoping for. So generally, yeah, I mean we've thought about different ways to highlight what's going on the scanners, but the high day momentum scanner and the running up scanner both are kind of signifying what may be moving up the top gainers scanner. So that's kind of the way I've been doing it. But yeah, I'll review those ideas with the team. So only about 4 minutes to the opening bell. HYFM pulling back a bit here. Unfortunately, this one is going to have 15-cent Hall bands because it opened below 75 cents or closed below on Friday. So I think the easy money, so to speak, is done, and it wasn't that easy today. Yes, I got some profit, and I'm grateful for that, but it was choppy. So HYFM cheaper, trading in tighter ranges. Had some decent profit on the first trade that I crushed, but even then it wasn't as good as it could have been. And then the second trade gave back a bit, and the third trade made back a little bit. But anyway, so this is where I sit here. It's a great day in the small account. Small account, best day that I've had so far. So donated $5,000 to Michigan Children's Hospital and also 5,000 to a Mississippi Children's Hospital. So we've now raised and donated over $400,000 in these small account challenges. Today is day 29, and the account's at $45,000 versus the initial starting balance of $2,000. So making some really good progress here and donating that money as we go. But I don't think today's a day where I see a setup that's obvious going into the opening bell the way I have on other days. So, some days we've had nice momentum going into the open, but HYFM has pulled back too much, and EZRA did that rejection. So, John will come on here shortly and give you guys some market commentary through the open. Maybe we'll end up having something that gives you an opportunity, but I'd say overall, this is a good start to the week. It's a good start to the month. And let's see if we can build on it tomorrow. So I'll be back at it 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, and hoping that we have some more solid opportunities like we did today. All right, so I'll upload a recap later today. I'll just do both of them in the one recap since I traded pretty much the same in both. And so I'll get that uploaded a little bit later this morning. All right, I'll see you guys first thing tomorrow morning.
Alrighty, good morning. Welcome to a new week, new month. Not a bad first start here with a almost 600% mover. Really good to see. But pre-market was hot, and we're going to have to let the market open here settle, I think, in my view. We tend to get moves around, 10 to 10:30 sometimes, 9:30 to 10:30, and so let things kind of fail, and we're going to start reviewing the charts in a little bit. The universe of stocks that I'm watching, you can see right here, at least for now. The only reason why I have DFNS on the side chart is because it went up and stopped the other two from going up in pre-market. So because DFNS went up, It stopped UPC. I mean, it stopped HYFM, and it stopped EZRA for now. 393 is a big level for EZRA. Something to note with this one is it had a lot of 5-minute green candles in pre-market. It was exceptionally strong in pre-market early, despite it not doing too well. It had MACD entirely green, and so, but there is definitely a seller somewhere, in this area, in this rectangle. A lot of churn here, a lot of volume. The 2.6 million share candle. It's going to be almost a 3 million share candle. Almost, yep, 2.9. So next level that I have is about 545, but we now have 3 green candles in a row. The market cap on EZRA is about 3.4 million. I'm going to let it chop out here, consolidate. Notice, guys, I'm not focusing on the things that are halting down. I really don't care about HYFM. Anything going down, I don't care. Eventually, I will care as I'm looking for curls, but not when something's going up or holding up. Now, I did notice FCOV went easy to borrow earlier. It was not easy to borrow, and then it turned easy to borrow kind of mid pre-market. So I don't necessarily like that one too much at the moment, but it's on the side. $472 halt price. We're going to have to hold a new level, which is going to be 433. This is not a bad move for the market open traders. If you're a market open trader, this is your bread and butter here, but we're getting a little extended. All right, let's let it pull back.